So what do you
Absolutely.
look when you assess someone's mindset and their vision, their readiness for tax planning?
Like when I'm looking at that stuff, it shows up in the form of, I mean, really inconsistent decisions, right? So someone who lacks clarity, one month they'll want to scale, the next month they're kind of just trying to survive. They might hire quickly or they may not hire at all, which that leads to all kinds of other problems because then you're one-stop shop for everything in your business. Their bookkeeping that falls behind. They forget to track the important items that may lead to deductions. And then tax planning never really becomes like a cadence or a rhythm. All of that kind of creates like a messy set of data, which leads to missed opportunities. And then eventually the tax return just reflects a year of unclear decisions. A lack of clarity becomes a business problem, right? And then it becomes a tax problem.
Have you run into like any situations where you see someone that they really don't have a clear path? What are some of like the typical struggles that you see that are pretty apparent?
It's just
Besides what
that.
you just mentioned, I know this is kind of like the same question, but in a different format. But I want the audience to really grasp on the idea that, these signs, whether it's fear, lack of clarity, whether it's, missing purpose, like how is that showing up in
Yeah.
the accounting side of their life, right? Their records.
Yeah, unpreparedness, really. If I had to say one word, is just they're completely caught off guard by a lot of things, right? So that tax bill comes in, they're caught off guard. They didn't have a plan for it. They weren't thinking about it, right?